This is the It's Not So Late show with your host, Aaron Hanania, the voice of young America, interviewing celebrities, influencers, and exploring unique and interesting stories that you need to hear. And now, please welcome your host of the It's Not So Late show, Aaron Hanania.
After a long hiatus, we are back here. Season 2, the It's Not So Late show. I am joined by Mommas Boy, Ryan and Andrea, all the way from New Zealand. Guys, thank you so much for being here today.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Thank you so much. So I guess I gotta go right into it. How did you guys get into music? I mean, Ryan, do you have a music background?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of, I suppose it dates back to birth. Like, there's like birth videos, not birth videos, but like videos of me being brought home in the car, and there's like the Rolling Stones playing in the background, and like
Guns N' Roses.
There's all these videos of me when I was like 3 with this like broken guitar, not even really strumming anything, but like singing along. And then when I was about 7, that's when, you know, I started with like learning guitar, learning drums. And then, yeah, it's kind of just been like a lifelong passion that I've just always loved music, especially the old stuff, like anything 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, that's kind of where, yeah, it's always been something I've really liked.
Do you have a favorite band?
I have several, but if I had to name a couple, I think the Stones would be like a staple one, because that's my dad's favorite. But then you've got like White Stripes, Nirvana. Really, you're like, there's so many, Led Zeppelin. The list goes on, but in excess, but
Australian band.
Yeah, Australian band. But yeah, at the moment, definitely White Stripes, Nirvana. Just got them on repeat.
Nice. So then how did Mom get involved in this? I see you taught your mom how to play drums, I think, over quarantine. So where did that idea come from?
It was his idea.
So it was really interesting, because I kind of was looking at like the TikTok plane and how it all works. And then I noticed there was definite trend with like people getting, I say the older generation, it probably sounds a little bit rude, but
that's me.
Getting the older generation involved in TikTok. People just go nuts over it. Like, there's that guy from, I think, New York, and it's that dad where they get him to like say how they'd say something in New York. Like, they'd be like, we say chocolate, and he'd go, it's chocolate.
Yeah.
And, you know, people just love that kind of different perspective. And I just thought, Mum has got an incredible natural rhythm to her. And I just was like, I've got a drum kit. I need a person to play my drums. And I was like, I think there could be something here. And sure enough, there was something there.
So how long did it take from when you posted that first video to when you actually started getting a lot of followers on TikTok?
Literally 24 hours.
Yeah, overnight.
I had 2 followers. I posted the video of Mum, and then suddenly I had 15,000 followers, and then it's kind of just, yeah, it was definitely like an overnight thing. It was crazy.
What was what was both of your reactions like when you tell your mom, we have 15,000 followers? That's a lot.
We would have been happy with 100. Like, seriously, that would have been good. And I think Ryan was sort of reporting back to me and saying, hey, Mum, you know, we've got 1,000 and we've got 1,500 and I'm going, wow, that's heaps. You know, just keep it going, Ryan. That's good. You know, and I'd go away and do the dishes and cook dinner and do stuff, and he'd be watching it, and then it just went overnight. Actually, it was sort of, what was it at?
Yeah, it was
a couple of 100,000, and then boom, overnight.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Because I say overnight, but it was kind of like, it got up to about 30 or 40 views, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
We're happy with that.
Views. And then it was like 10 o'clock at night, which I'm realizing now would have been just as like people in the US were waking up, and that's when it took off. And like, I remember looking at my phone and seeing 1,000, then refreshing it, and it was like 5,000. It was just the snowball effect that I'd never witnessed before, and it was just, yeah, it's crazy.
So, I mean, being from New Zealand, do you think that, like, is your audience more so from New Zealand, do you know, or is it more in the United States? Do you know where your audience is?
Yeah, looking at our analytics, we only have about like 13% of people actually from New Zealand.
Really?
And then like it's something like 85% of people are from the US. So it's like definitely that is our audience. And I think the whole reason behind that is like, it's definitely a very American kind of thing that we've done. Like, Americans kind of love that underdog, and it's like, these are people that have like come from just like playing in their garage to like actually getting somewhere. And I think, yeah, it's definitely something that is more adopted by an American audience rather than the New Zealand audience, which tend to be kind of pessimistic.
Yeah.
And like, we're very British in the sense that it's like, who wants to see a guy and his mum playing the drums? And yeah, it's like it's a very different atmosphere over there, and I think that's what really resonated with the US audience.
I definitely think you're right. So let's talk about playing the drums. Like, how did you start? I mean, like, what was the first thing you taught your mom on the drums?
So, White Stripes straight away. We learned Hardest Button to Button, Blue Orchid, Seven Nation Army, because like two things. It's very simplistic, but it's also very powerful, you know. And it's like that basic beat is something that Mum found and just took to really easily, and that was kind of they just two and two went together, and it was like she can do this, but it's also very prevalent in the music, and that's what I think people like because she wasn't just an addition to the band. She was part of the band.
Right.
And I think that was why it worked so well.
So what was your favorite song to learn on the drums?
I suppose, I mean, like Hardest Button to Button would be obviously one of my favourites, and the fact that it was the very first song that Ryan taught me. And it just has got some really cool drum beats. It's just, you know, it's got that boom, 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 boom. And that was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I can do that. It's just so exciting. And then, of course, Seven Nation Army, because I love that song. I really love that song. That's a really cool one. But the Nirvana ones have got to be favourite.
Like Teen Spirit.
It's got to be my favourite. I just, when we actually got Teen Spirit, because Ryan showed me, because how Ryan works is he picks a song and he goes, right, can I sing this? Can I play guitar to this? Do you think Mum can do this? And then also we've got Dad, you know, coming in and doing some bass work now. So he has to think about how those four things. So when he did Teen Spirit, and he goes, Mum, I'll show you Teen Spirit. And he started it off, and I just looked at him like, are you kidding me? I can't do that. And so anyway, it took me probably, I reckon, a week and a half. And I just sat there and every day I just went, oh, does this sound something like it? Oh, does this sound something like it? And it's a lot of counting. So I'm pretty proud of that when I have to get the timing right, and it's just like, woo! So that would probably, I think Teen Spirit would be one of my favorites.
Now, were there any songs that have just been like very difficult for you guys to learn that you're just, or maybe that you're
all of them? No, it's really surprising because we've started delving into like Beatles tracks because everyone always goes, oh, Ringo Starr's drumming is very easy, but it's not. It's really not.
It's not.
Ringo Starr is such an underrated drummer because we did Get Back.
Yeah.
And so much stuff in that Ringo Starr just, it looks easy to him, but it is so complicated and like really intricate. And yeah, we've really struggled with a lot of Beatles songs.
I've struggled.
Yeah.
So Ryan does not struggle. No, it's me.
It is hard. I mean, I'm a drummer myself, and I was watching. I think you guys did Come Together, and I was like, "That is such a hard beat." And like, I've been playing for 15 years, and I just learned that a couple of years ago. And you've only been playing a couple of months, and I saw you mastering it. I mean, how did that feel? I mean, so
actually, you know what? That's probably, you're right. That's probably another one of my favorites.
Yeah, Come Together.
Because when we first started, Ryan had a little pocket kit. Yeah. And of course now we've got a big kit because Mum had to have one. But no, so we started on this pocket kit, and I remember it was in the garage, and Ryan said, we're going to do Come Together. So I listened to it, and I heard the drumming in it, and I went, there's no way I'll be able to do that. So he showed me once again. I just went, I can't even, nah. So we left
because we actually gave up. We gave up. Yeah.
We gave up because I said, I can't do it, Ryan. I can't. So anyway, then we went back. It would have been probably a month later, do you think?
Yeah.
And a month later, and I sat down and went, come on, pull yourself together. You can do this. So I had a bit of a go, and I was still out of time. I still wasn't right. And then it just, boom, came together. Without, sorry to use that, but we did. And now we've got Dad doing the bass as well. And wow, that's a cool thing to achieve. Yeah. That's a really cool one.
How did that come into? How did the father come into playing bass? You know I saw that video. Was that just Mom got on the bandwagon and Dad's like, I gotta try it too type of thing?
It was actually very fan driven because we did a couple of interviews over here in New Zealand, and there was always that kind of question of like, are there any other family members you want to get involved? And I kind of said it as a joke. I was like, we're in talks with Dad, signing the contracts, getting him on the bass, completely as a joke. But then you could see there was a definite kind of demand for it, and people going, we want to see Dad on the bass. And sure enough, it went really well. And like, yeah, our most viewed video now is with Dad on the bass for Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it's like, yeah, people definitely love the family atmosphere and like the family feeling that we've set up on the TikTok. Yeah.
So how long does it take to record a video? You know, I mean, I'm sure if there's like a whiff or something like that. So how many times did you say you record a video before you master it perfectly?
It really depends.
Depends.
Like there have been some where we've been just completely blown away and we've gotten a first take, and you can even see us like look at each other like, did we all get that? Was that all right?
Well, listen to it. Make sure it's
And
all
then
right.
like especially one we did most recently, "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd.
I saw that.
We've got this constant take, and if you watch the constant take, you can slowly see us both mentally break down to the point where we're like, oh, we don't want to do this. And then we did this one last take and we got it. And it was just, it's really random as to what ones we find difficult. And honestly, some of our hardest songs we get within the first take. Like Smells Like Teen Spirit was one take.
So you guys do a live gig too. I mean, is that dynamic different? Because you can't re-record that. You gotta master it. How did that go?
It's live is a very different atmosphere because when it comes to recording just the TikToks, I'm very pedantic and very much a perfectionist, where even like there's one bass note out, I'll be like, no, doing that again, stopping that. But then live is very different because people don't notice the mistakes.
Yeah.
And like you notice them, but it doesn't really matter because everyone's so caught up in like enjoying it that mistakes are just a part of it almost. It's very strange. And it's like, they are very different dynamics.
Oh yeah. So how did that live gig come to be? I know I saw there's two now. At least there might be more, but that you've published. There's one at a wedding and one in like a music hall. So how did those gigs come to be?
So the first one was at Mum's work.
Yeah,
as a very supportive environment of Mommas Boy. And they had an end of year Christmas function where they usually have like a band of all the people who work at the regional council, and they're an incredible band.
They're really good.
And then they said to us, with probably like a month out, do you want to perform at the Christmas gig as well? And because they had all the equipment there, we were ready to set up, and we were like, we weren't sure at first.
Mum said no.
Yeah, Mum said no.
Because I'm going, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and then I just kept pushing it. I was like, no, we have to do this. A live gig will be so cool. And yeah, sure enough, we did it. We got a set list together. And yeah, it just went so well. And then that was our first one. Our second one was at my cousin's wedding.
Oh, that's right.
And that was again like another one where there's a big, like quite a lot of people there. And my cousin had been a fan of us and he just really wanted to play with us together. And then, yeah, it's always been very like friends and like people who want to like enjoy the experience with us. And the last one was our family friend's 60th.
Oh, wow.
And that was another very casual gig where it kind of all came together. And it's like, yeah, we definitely want to aim to start doing like maybe a gig in like a pub or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really good for us because we've had like a supportive environment wherever we've gone, which is really cool.
I love his enthusiasm. It's just like, it's but it's cool.
How did it feel though? I mean, going from, everyday people, now you're literally a band, you're doing live gigs. I mean, what is that feeling like when you're asked to do a live gig?
We're a band.
I laugh at that because I always, when they talk about Mommas Boy, it's a band, and I'm sort of like, no, we're not. We're just like, just a couple of oldies playing with their son. That's really what I am. But it is a lot of fun, and I must admit those 3 gigs that we'll say it's a gig. I don't like using that term, but it's the first one was just amazing, and there was probably about 170 people there.
Goodness.
And a lot of people, when it was coming to that week before it, and a lot of people says, "Oh, I'm only coming to see you guys, and then I'll go," and I'm going, pressure. That's a lot of pressure. So the very first song we did was Hardest Button to Button, and I must admit, I was a bit nervous at the beginning of the week. Got to the day, talking to the real band, talking to those guys, and I all of a sudden just relaxed, and I went, well, what can happen? We know what we have to do. This is our job, and we got into it, and then it was like, after the first applause, it was actually really quite cool.
Yeah.
How many songs did you guys play at that gig?
Ooh.
11?
Yeah, 11 songs.
Yeah.
And we kind of do this thing now where we found on stage, it's quite an unusual thing. We will keep the songs at TikTok length.
Yeah.
So we can actually fit more songs into the set list.
Okay.
And because I find we're not the kind of band now that's going to go into like those big solos or anything like that because we simply don't have like the musical ability to do it. We don't have the people to do it. So
the memory.
Yeah. And we'll literally just stick to like a verse, chorus. And we just find that people have a lot more energy for that because it's like little snippets of their favorite songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely like, it's been weird how we've been able to adapt the kind of short attention span based TikTok thing to a concert, which is usually extending the songs and making them longer. So yeah, it's been quite an unusual thing to experiment with, but we think it works quite well.
You guys thought about doing like a mashup type thing where you do like, I don't know, like 10 songs in like 1 minute or 5 songs in a minute?
yeah, all in the same key. Yeah. No, there definitely has been thoughts like that, but it's about developing it and just seeing where our concert persona will go, you know?
Has this brought you guys a lot of attention? I know you mentioned you did an interview of some kind, so have you gotten a lot of media attention by doing this?
Yeah, so
and it's continuing. It is continuing because we've got a couple of TV shows here in New Zealand, and one's an evening show, and it's called the Project. So, but most of New Zealand, hones into that. There's we only have about 3 decent channels. So anyway, so I know it's funny. So anyway, there was that one, and that one we knew a lot of people that watched it, but it continues.
Yeah.
You were in a place today, and even the guy that was changing the tires on our car, he said, "Hey, I saw you guys."
Yeah.
So it's actually, it just continues, and then we're on a breakfast show as well, which is actually a big one here.
Yeah, and then we went global.
Oh yeah, we went global. Yes.
Yeah, we were on Access Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah. So that was pretty insane seeing like Mario Lopez interviewing us, and I was like, what? It's crazy. And yeah, with like Unilad Sound, it's kind of like that English.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, so Unilad's like, it's like, how you guys have like Complex?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So it's like their UK equivalent.
Okay.
We did a little article on that, and then there's possibility of the Kelly Clarkson show sometime this year, but
wow.
Yeah, that's kind of in the works. So it's amazing how, because we're not necessarily a big platform, but I think the concept of our TikTok is so, it's not being arrogant, but it's very newsworthy in the sense that it's not like, here's someone that's lip syncing along to a song. It's here's a family who's learned to play music over lockdown, which is something people love talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like made something positive out of it. So it's like, it's very kind of cool in the sense that it is a very marketable story. And yeah, people have just picked up on it and just really ran with it. It's quite cool.
Now, are you guys thinking about going on to other platforms? I know you mentioned TikTok, but like YouTube, Instagram, type things like that where my viewers can find you guys. Is that in the works?
Yeah, so we do have an Instagram, and yeah, we're actually kind of expanding into Spotify. Like we've got a couple of songs coming out. We've already got an account on Spotify at the moment with one single that we've made. But yeah, I think definitely the future is probably trying to actually make and record our own songs because yeah, it's something I've been doing since I was really young, but now it's like, it's a cool thing to have mum involved and we can listen back in a couple of years and listen to a song and, we can go, oh, remember when you drummed on that song, mum? Or remember when you sung backing vocals and all that kind of thing? So it's like,
I can remember it.
Yeah, hopefully you can remember it. But yeah, it's like, I think that's definitely the next stage is to trying to actually make something out of the attention that we've given. But yeah, always be posting on TikTok because we just love it.
Now, what type of genre of music? You said you guys are going to start making music. Are you going to kind of stick to that rock genre that, mom's drumming to, like something similar like that?
Yeah, there's definitely, like, in some of the songs we've recorded at the moment and got kind of in the works, there's definitely that White Stripes kind of vibe to it and the simplicity of it. But, we hear like a lot of different kind of influences. Like I'll play it to people and they'll go, oh, that sounds a little bit like Nirvana. Oh, I can hear a bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers in there. So it's like
a bit of Pink Floyd in there.
Yeah, and it's like, it's definitely, I think because I've had so many influences, it's like, I can't help but kind of merge those into something else. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where that making your own music journey goes.
That's fun. So looking ahead now we're in a new year. So what's your next big step with Mommas Boy? Do you have something that like a goal of 2022?
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely like to do a couple more live shows because I think it's really fun and we really enjoy doing it and it's just great. You just feel good after you've done it. So definitely that. Definitely trying to put out some of our own music on Spotify is another goal. And yeah, to kind of just grow our platform and get the songs more intricate on the TikTok and like on TikTok. I don't want to sound like an old person. It's like I was on the Google last night. Get it on TikTok and like, do some songs that people are going to go, tell you what, Dad's actually doing a pretty intricate bass line there and stuff like that. And that, I think that's the aim, is just to kind of grow as musicians, really. Yeah.
Now, have you thought about having Mom do a drum solo?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know. People have suggested that, and I just, that's where, okay, that'll be my goal for 2020.
2020, it's
Yeah,
set in
I'm
stone.
going
Set
to
in
do
stone.
because honestly, I see Ryan, he gets on the drums and he just goes for it, and I'm going, I wouldn't even know where to start, you know. I'd love to be able to, as Ryan said, that he said, Mum, well, you should get your headphones on and actually just play along to songs.
Yep.
And that's probably what I need to do more of. But sometimes I'm sort of just too scared to put in a little, what do they call it?
Yeah, it's the fear of failure.
Fear of failure,
Yeah.
and I'm just going, oh, that sounds rubbish, or I missed the beat, or whatever. So I've sort of got to do more of that, because obviously things don't come that easily to us, because we're not sort of we've never played an instrument before. So whereas you guys, luckily for you, because how long have you been playing drums?
I've been playing, 17 years probably.
Oh my goodness! So you must have started when you were 1.
I was 3. You're not far off.
So I mean, that is incredible. Like, that's so cool. And I've always said to Ryan, I said, God, that's one of my regrets is, why didn't I start when I was younger? But we didn't have the opportunities.
Okay.
Whereas both my husband and I, we were keen for Ryan to learn an instrument. We just wanted him to do it, because I think it's a fantastic thing. But I'm a baby of 6. We lived on a farm and there was no drum sets within Kui.
Yeah.
So I think, it's so neat that you guys, like the younger generation, actually get a chance to do that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think I'll kind of on that. What's really unique as well is like we've actually stuck with it, and like I have a lot of friends that I talk to now where they're like, I picked up guitar when I was like 10 or 11, but I just didn't want to go on with it, and now I wish I did. And I think that's another big problem is it's like you do have those formative years where you don't necessarily want to learn an instrument, and you only realize how cool it is to know how to play music as you get older.
Yeah.
Because I know I was very like that in the sense that from what was it, like 9 to 10, and then like maybe up until I was like 14, really had no interest on the guitar. I didn't really play it at all. I was kind of cool. And then kind of the eye-opening moments were like when you went to live shows. Like we went to the Stones in 2015 with their 14 on Fire tour that was postponed. Yeah. And it was when as soon as they came out and they did like the first like couple of notes of Start Me Up, and it was like, and it was literally a firework moment because all these fireworks went up.
Yeah.
And it was like that moment where I was like, I really need to pick up that guitar again, because it's like you realize how cool it is to know an instrument.
Now, aside from this, I know you guys, you mentioned you grew up on a farm. Is this like your full-time job, or do you guys do things on the side of doing Mommas Boy?
Oh, absolutely. No, we have full-time job. Well, I have a full-time job, and Ryan's at uni. Or a college, university, and he also works. So lockdown was brilliant, and we actually had time because I work from sort of 7:30 till 4, and then pretty much at 4:15 we'd be in the lounge or in the garage, and we'd be banging away and doing whatever. And now that it's sort of back to normal, normal-ish, you know, I'm at work now, so that we're not drumming as much, but I do try and do something every day. Just to sort of, and it was quite funny because Ryan was away on holiday, and we'd been away at the beach, and then we had to do a song, didn't we, Ryan? And Mama didn't do so well, and he said, "See, Mum, you have not been practicing." I'm going, I know I haven't been practicing because you haven't been here. So it just shows you still got to do it.
So what advice would you have, like, for people who want to pick up the guitar again, who want to pick up a guitar, or in your case, want to pick up drumsticks? Where do you think they should start when it comes to music?
I just reckon start with the music you love.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because I don't think we would have been able to do half the stuff we've done if we didn't both love the same songs. And like, I know I always kind of go real ranty about this, but I feel like nowadays is a lot harder to pick up an instrument because so much music now features literally no instruments at all. And like that's why it's something that's always kind of bugged me, because I'm like, this new generation of guitarists has no real mainstream music that they can go, oh, I can learn that little lick, or I can do that little thing. And I think like that's why it's so important to keep the old music alive, because that is what inspires like to be a good guitarist or to be a good drummer, is like listening to it and going, I would really like to sound like Meg White on those drums, or I would really like to sound like Charlie Watts, or, you know, I'd really like to sound like Jack White on the guitar. And yeah, I think definitely if you want to learn guitar, find that music you love and learn that first, because then once you know how to play the music you love, that'll flow into other things. And then yeah, I think that's probably the most important step for young musicians. But what would you say, Mum?
Definitely. No, I think you're right, actually, because when Ryan started coming up with some songs to play, White Stripes, I mean, I know White Stripes, and I do, but they were the songs that he was picking. I'd never heard of them. I hadn't heard of them. But then when I listened to them, I went, oh, these are cool. They've got a cool beat. Love that. But then as we've gone on, and you can see a lot of the ones that we've done, they were songs that like the Hollies and things like that. Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. Yeah, some of them are my absolute favourites. And my ABBA one.
Yeah.
And when Ryan sort of worked out that I could probably do it, I was just so excited, because I'm thinking, I never thought I'd ever be doing anything like this. So definitely the music you love, I would say.
Speaking of music, would you guys be able to play a couple songs for us here tonight?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We could try, but we'd have to move.
No, I appreciate you guys joining me. Where can people follow you? That's important. Like, if people want to follow Mommas Boy, just plug your handles real quick.
Yeah, so we've got Mommas Boy Official on our TikTok. We've got just Mommas Boy on Spotify, but there's only one song, but there's more to come, so always worth following us there. And then, yeah, we have Mommas Boy Official on Instagram as well. That's Mommas_Boy_official. So, yeah, pretty much if you search up Mommas Boy, you'll probably find us eventually.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for this. You know, it's hard to plan sometimes. I mean, you guys are in New Zealand. I'm in Chicago. 19 hours time difference, but we made it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
How
so
cool
much.
is that?
It is.
Cool.
Power of Zoom is wonderful.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to hearing more from Mom.
It's been lovely talking to you.
You're so good at what you do, man.
Yeah, very
really good
cool.
interviewer.
Thank you so much.